Top 10 more... Wait. Oh, this is more monsters. Should we watch the first one? I didn't realize. This is not the original one. Hold on. Top 10 cards which are immune to everything in Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's watch.
In this video, we'll go over cards which have effects that make them unaffected by other card effects, which is basically the same as being immune to everything in Yu-Gi-Oh! Terms. And at number 10, we have the Disdainful Bird of Paradise.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that. This is unaffected by your card? Wait, what? This is a... you can touch materials. You can detach 2 materials from this card this turn. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. Oh, wow. And it's only rank 1?
Paradise. This is probably one of the weakest monsters that has an effect, which makes it immune to everything, as it's a rank 1 Exceeds monster that requires 2 generic level 1 monsters as its materials, and its effects are, it's unaffected by other card effects, i.e. immune to everything. And once per turn, you can detach 2 Exceeds material from this card so that it cannot be destroyed by battle or take any battle damage for that turn.
It's just Crook Chef? The Crook Cook, right? Yeah, but like, this is only once, right? It can only be destroyed by battle. This card cannot be destroyed by battle, but only once, because then... so it makes you survive 1 turn, basically.
And with 0 attack and defense, and with his effect being spell speed 2, basically you can use this effect to protect yourself for 1 turn. As it's unaffected by card effects, your opponent can't remove it from the field, except with something like Kaiju's, or destroying it by battle, which is super easy since it has 0 attack and defense. And that's where the effect of this card comes in, to protect it for a turn. With the rank 1 engine having a couple of stall cards in it, this card fits kind of right in with the rest of them.
You can refill the materials? I guess you can.
But this card came out really late in the lifetime of Exceeds monsters, so it never really saw much play. And at number 9, we have the Winged Dragon of Ra, Immortal Phoenix.
Oh.
This card is a Winged Dragon of Ra support card, created to give the Winged Dragon of Ra one of its anime effects. Because for those of you who don't know, the original Winged Dragon of Ra has like 20 different effects in the anime. Which
yeah, no way.
Only like 4 or 5 of them made it to the real card. So this card can only be special summoned from the graveyard, if the Winged Dragon of Ra is sent from the field to the graveyard. With a body of 4,000 attack and defense, and having the distinction of being unaffected by other card effects, this card is much more in line with the unbeatable version from the anime. It also has the effect where you can pay 1,000 life points to send a monster on the field to the graveyard as many times per turn as you want. But during the end phase, this card is sent to the graveyard, and then you can special summon the Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere mode from your hand deck or graveyard.
Hello, Brett. I find that funny. What video is it? And like it's not here in the corner. Yeah, we're watching a video about tower monsters.
So this card can only exist on the field for 1 turn, which kind of balances out the fact that it's a 4,000 attack beat stick that is unaffected by everything, and has a non-destruction monster removal effect that can be used as many times per turn as you want. If all of these effects were given to the actual Winged Dragon of Ra, it would be a lot more comparable to the anime version. That's why this one has a whole bunch of restrictions for its summoning and how long it can stay out. And at number
I don't know. Oh, Exodia Incarnate? Wait, what?
Exodia Incarnate.
Incarnate.
This is an Exodia support card, which has the effects where you can special summon it from your hand by sending a Forbidden One card from your side of the field to the graveyard. And it gains 1,000 attack for each Forbidden One monster in your graveyard. And during the end phase, you can add 1 Forbidden One monster from your graveyard to your hand. And if this card is destroyed by battle, you can draw a card for every Forbidden One monster you have in your hand.
I am surprised that no one uses this. This looks like a fake card that you will print and stuff. Like I mean, I know it's not good, right? But it's one of those cards that I feel like people will try to make work. Can you do where is trash dual cards? I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
Oh, and it's also unaffected by other card effects. That's going to be an effect all of the cards in this list have, because it's kind of a criteria for them to be on this list. Now, this card would actually be pretty decent if the Forbidden One cards weren't all limited. So with all 5 pieces of Exodia in the graveyard, this card can have 5,000 attack, and be unaffected by other card effects, which is a pretty good effect to have. But since
You need to actually want to win with Exodia to play this card? Really? I think it would be the opposite, kinda. Some people tried it in Duel Links when it was added. Oh, interesting. The issue was that for a long time it was basically more like Plan B. With recent support Exodia God, it is a lot better. Interesting. Well, I wonder why.
Since
I've
all
never
the
seen.
support cards for this are limited, meaning you can only have one of them in your deck each, there's only ever 5 targets for this guy to gain attack from the graveyard. So you have to selectively mill these 5 cards, which is made easier by another one of the Exodia support cards called Obliterate. Now, if all of the pieces of Exodia were unlimited, this card would actually be so much better, because it would be much easier to get those cards into the graveyard than using a slow card like Obliterate to get them in the grave. Currently, this card is nothing more than a gimmick, but if all of the pieces of Exodia were unlimited, and you can get 15 of them into the graveyard, you could have a monster with 15,000 attack and is unaffected by card effects, which would really live up to giving Exodia its Forbidden 1 status.
Okay, I understand. Like, you can only summon it with one of those combos that die to 1 interruption, right? So single interaction, okay, the combo is dead, the dream is dead, it's all over. I totally see it. This card actually adds stuff to your hand, but more in Exodia deck wants the pieces to stay in the deck. I see.
And at number 7, we have Timaeus, Knight of Destiny.
The hell? I've never seen this. What is this? Is this from the anime, right?
This card can only be summoned from the extra deck by sending 3 legendary night monsters you control to the graveyard. And each of the legendary night monsters are level 8 monsters, which in themselves require a convoluted summoning requirement. So this card is kind of hard to get out. And its effects are, it's unaffected by other card effects. Once per battle, during the damage calculation, you can make this card's attack and defense become equal to the highest attack on the field.
Equal to the highest attack on the field. Okay. This card is funny to play. I play this. Oh. I always thought the decks that try to draw Exodia more cool than Exodia decks that go for the Exodia fusion. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, this is from the Waking the Drown arc stuff.
And if this card is destroyed by battle, you can special summon the 3 legendary night monsters from your hand, deck, or graveyard, ignoring their summoning conditions. So it will float into the 3 monsters that brought it out. Now, what most people do when they bring this card out is just put it in defense position and stall out, and try to win in some other way. Because your opponent can't get rid of this card without a kaiju or spear mode. Basically, this card is unaffected by everything. None of your opponent's card effects can remove it from the field. And since its effect allows it to gain attack and defense equal to the highest attack on the field, your opponent can't beat over it easily, especially since its effect takes place during the damage calculation, which is one of the hardest places to chain an attack increaser card. So even cards like Honest can't be used to beat over it. This card's near invincible status really lives up to its tough summoning requirement, and I think deserves a spot on this list for that.
You can kind of play that with Exodia then. Yeah, you just have to pray that your opponent doesn't have a kaiju.
And at number 6, we have Venomi Naga, the deity of poisonous snakes. This is the only card in the game which is both unaffected by all card effects and can't be targeted by any card effect. So it has double protection from being immune to everything, but really doesn't need it. Just being immune to everything is more than enough for it not to be removed from the field.
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean? It's unaffected by card effect, but you can also not target it? Like, you can target unaffected monsters, right? But the effect is not going to do anything, so it doesn't matter if you can target it.
It didn't really need to be untargetable as well. This card also has a floating effect where it can revive itself when destroyed by battle, by banishing a different reptile-type monster from your graveyard, making it even more difficult to get rid of. And if this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent 3 times, you win the duel.
This is pre-logic based card text. Yeah, this is from before 2010, right? I think.
Few cards that has an instant win effect. Now, the downsides to this card. It has no attack on its own, and gains 500 attack for each reptile-type monster in your graveyard. So you need to mill a ton of reptiles in order to give this card a respectable attack to beat over stuff.
Oh, you can do things like target the monster, then gain LP equal to the attack. Okay, there is a niche use, so I kinda see it.
Currently, there aren't very many good reptile-type monsters that like to be sent to the graveyard. So reptile mill decks aren't really a thing. It can also only be special summoned by the trap card Rise of the Snake Deity, which in itself requires a specific card called Venomenon, the King of Poisonous Snakes.
This is so convoluted, like all of this, and then this is not even like a really that good of a card, honestly. It's such a weird thing that they try to do. I don't think this was even overpowered when it came out, right? It's a cool boss monster and has a built-in win condition, but it and Snake Rain are probably the reason we won't get stronger. We won't get stronger Reptile support outside of exceptions like Mitsurui. Mitsurui is such a big exception there, such a big asterisk there. Venomina can't be protected by your own power of the Guardian. What?
To be destroyed by a card effect in order to activate the card, which then allows you to special summon Venominaga from your hand or deck, which means this card falls squarely into the gimmick category, as it requires way too much setup in order to get out or do anything, or to even get on the field. Which means this card falls pretty squarely into the gimmick category, as it requires too much to set up in order to get going or do anything, or to even get out on the field, without offering too much of an impact other than being really hard to get rid of. But it is really hard to get rid of, and that's why I give it a decent-ish spot on this list.
Oh, you cannot like equip things to it because of that. Okay, I see. Wait, you cannot be targeted, so you cannot like make it stronger with your own effects. Okay, I get what you mean.
And at number 5, we have Blackwing Full Armor Master. This is a level 10 Blackwing Synchro monster.
Okay, this is I think the first one in the list that I've actually lost to because I couldn't out it. Yeah, okay. This is the the first one in the list that I actually lost to. Yeah. I don't remember what I was playing. I think it's Sky Striker, and I just couldn't get the attack because everything else kept getting negated.
That only requires you to have a Blackwing tuner plus generic materials. It has 3000 attack and defense and is unaffected by everything, which is pretty good on its own. So far, I think this is one of the easiest immune monsters that has a decent attack on this list so far.
Okay.
But on top of that, it also has an effect that can potentially allow you to steal your opponent's monsters or destroy them, as whenever your opponent activates a monster effect, you can place one wedge counter on that monster. And once per turn, you can take control of a monster with a wedge counter on it, and during your end phase, you can destroy all monsters on the field which have wedge counters. And since there are other Blackwing monsters that can help place wedge counters on the field, this is a pretty useful effect. The biggest problem with this card is the fact that it's kind of an awkward level for Blackwing monsters to go into. So it's not that easy to bring out in a Blackwing deck. But it's not super hard either. And also with 3000 attack, it's not that hard to beat over either. As the only way to destroy this monster is by battle, it's pretty easy for an average deck to match 3000 attack, or surpass it.
I don't have an average deck. I couldn't get there, oh my god.
By a bit. So it's not super amazing, but still pretty good anyway. And at number 4, we have Ancient Gear Houtzer.
Okay.
This is an Ancient Gear fusion monster, which only requires 2 Ancient Gear monsters as its materials, and has an effect where it's unaffected by other card effects. Once per turn, you can just inflict 1000 burn damage to your opponent, and if it's destroyed by battle, it floats into an Ancient Gear monster from your deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, which means it can float into Ancient Gear Golem. And since this card is immune to everything and has a lowish attack and defense, your opponent will most likely activate its floating effect by destroying it by battle, which will allow you to go into something bigger. This card is just a weird card in its archetype,
that's what I was thinking.
as it's the only Ancient Gear monster that's immune to card effects, but still pretty decent card anyway, because it's easy to bring out and floats into something bigger. And at number 3, we have Lyrilisk, Independent Nightingale. This is a level 1 fusion monster who gains attack equal to its level times 500. And once per turn, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to this card's level times 500. You can increase the level of this monster by the amount of Exceeds materials attached to one of the materials used for the summon of this monster.
What? What? You can increase the level of this monster by the amount of XC's materials attached to one of the materials used to summon this monster? So like 2? Oh, so it's 2 for if you summon like 2 XC's Lyrilisk, you have 2 and 2, so like 4. So you get like Lyrilisk can attach multiple. Assemble Knight, I believe, is the XC's. What? This card costs an ace, star ace to get banned? Yeah, I've assumed there's a game plan for this to make this card like have like a lot of attack, right? Like over 3000 easily, I guess. It's an Arc 5 related, Ruri, an XC user possessed by the fusion dimension. Go discard and summon it. Yeah, I think we saw this in one of the analyses from the duel. In GX there's a bunch of Planet Ace monster. Yeah, I'm not familiar. I don't remember.
As one of its fusion monsters is an Exceeds monster, that means it can go up in level by 5 usually, because that's the standard amount used to bring out Lyrilisk assembled Nightingale. And to top it all off, this card is unaffected by other card effects, just like everything else on this list. Now, what makes this card really good is monsters which can copy its effect in the graveyard.
Oh!
Currently, there are 2 cards on the ban list because this card exists.
Oh, that's what you were talking about.
The Tyrant Neptune and Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom. If the Tyrant Neptune copies this card's effect in the graveyard, it would gain 5,000 attack and be able to inflict 5,000 points of burn damage to your opponent every turn, while also being unaffected by card effects, which is an incredibly broken effect to have. And Dragon Starving Venom had a similar thing, where you could bring out 2 of them easily in one turn, and both of them could copy Nightingale's effect from the graveyard to inflict 8,000 points of damage to your opponent. Basically, because of this card's effect, any cards which have effects which allow you to copy card effects from the graveyard immediately have the potential to be super broken.
But is this card not... This card is not banned, right? This card is legal. At least in Master Duel, right? Or not? I don't remember.
Because of this card's ability to give them the immune status, and gain a whole bunch of attack, and inflict burn damage.
Or are you telling me that now this one is banned? This is probably banned now, I don't know.
Easily. And that's why it's at number 3. But since this card is more of a support card to make other cards...
Wait, what? Are you serious? Are they actually like drilling the wall? Are my neighbors doing that? Or was that a... What is that? What is that? Okay, I think it's over. Okay, that was quick.
That's why it's at number 3. But since this card is more of a support card to make other cards broken, I don't think it should take the numbers 2 or 1 spots from what is actually there. And at number 2, we have Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon.
This is
a
guy.
rank 10 monster with 3,500 attack, which is unaffected by card effects. It also has a couple of other effects that rarely get used outside of the Raid Raptor archetype. But basically, because Ultimate Falcon just has the unaffected by card effects effect baseline, on top of having a big body of 3,500, if you use a card that allows you to cheat extra deck monsters out of your extra deck, like with Waking the Dragon, this card is one of the best targets to pick.
Dude, we've seen this, right? I think we've seen this on the replay stream where someone got like the other one, right? What is it called? Rising Rebellion or something with Waking the Dragon. That is such a stupid card. You can just cheat like something unaffected with a huge number. Yeah.
As for some reason, Ultimate Falcon doesn't have an effect which restricts how it can be special summoned from the extra deck. So Ultimate Falcon is rarely brought out normally, and is usually brought out by cheating it out with other methods. That's because it's really hard to get rid of. 3,500 attack is kind of an awkward amount to beat over, as very few cards can go above 3,000 attack.
Yeah, but you know what's even dumber? Daruma Karma Cannon. Well, that card has to exist because of dumb cards like this. Like we need the Daruma Karma Cannon because of this. I think that's the real problem here. I think I used the trap to summon the Time Lord Synchro in pure Time Lord deck. Interesting. Time Lord. Rising Rebellion is actually one of the latest support cards. One of the few rank 13 XCs. Only 3 rank 13s. Yeah, I mean, this video is from 6 years ago. So we will probably see it in the next one.
And that extra 500 attack is really just enough to make this card kind of a problem card to get over.
Kinda?
The common answer to actually destroy it by battle is with Utopia the Lightning. But if you don't have Utopia the Lightning, well, there's also a Boral Sword Dragon.
I get it.
I guess it's not that difficult for the average deck to get rid of. But it is still kind of a problem, where you need to spend a lot of resources to specifically beat this one card. And if able to bring out easily, with Waking the Dragon, that's a pretty good trade-off. And at number 1, we have Super Quantal Mech King Great Magnet.
Okay, I actually lost to this one time. The one time that I played against whatever this archetype is, I lost to this thing.
This card gains multiple effects based on the amount of Exceeds materials with different names attached to this card.
At this point, he might just as well say run honest for the Ray Raptor. Yeah, totally. Just get it, draw the kaiju, dude. What are you doing? Yeah, I love bringing this out with 6 mats and playing onomats. Bruh.
At 4 or more materials, this card is unaffected by card effects, except for Super Quant cards. So technically, it's not immune to everything, since it can be affected by cards from its own archetype.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really mean anything unless you're playing against a mirror match.
Yeah, exactly. What is the point of it? It's like the... it's when I complain about the Luna Light card, what is it called? Liger Dancer, and people say, oh, but it's not actually ineffective. You can affect it with Liger. I'm not playing Luna Light cards, dude. What are you talking about? I'm not gonna put that in my extra deck just because the chance that I could like play against the Luna Light. Yeah.
So I thought I would include it on this list anyway. Now, when this card has 6 or more materials, this card gains a mistake-like effect, which really shuts down most meta decks, and really made this card a legitimate win strategy. And in fact, because someone found a really consistent way to turbo this card out with the brilliant fusion engine, people started running kaijus in their main deck just to counter this card. With 2 or more materials, this card gains a spell speed 2, return any card on the field into the deck effect, which is great removal. And if this card is destroyed, it has a floating effect where you can special summon 3 different Super Quantal Mech Beast Exceeds monsters from your graveyard. This one card did everything, and was kind of designed that way. This card was meant to be a big boss monster that does work on board, and is hard to get rid of, and really succeeded at that too. The only problem with this card is it was supposed to be kind of hard to summon. The deck that could turbo this card out helped to popularize just how good the brilliant fusion engine was, and made people play kaijus in their main decks for a hot second.
Nobody plays this anymore. What happened? Got power crept? Or what? Or did something get banned? Or what? What happened? Why does no one play this? I'm 6 months playing Master Duel. I only play against this once. And I got absolutely destroyed. Because I wasn't ready for this. Oh, it got new support? You should play it? Nah, I'm not playing this kind. I'm not a big fan of tower monsters. They are just not for me. Like, I understand. And I respect it in a way. But it's just not for me. It's not the type of gameplay that I like. I want to summon Liger Dancer properly, ASP. Making it fusion climbing. I don't even know when I see like a Luna Light starting the combos, like I just let them do it. Pray for the best. I know I shouldn't. Minus kills the computer. Yeah, just shining draw Luna Light. Just manifest it. Yeah, just manifest a Luna Light card in your deck. It's that easy.
Which I think makes it deserving of the #1 spot on this list. Alright, and that's the end of the video. If you think there's other immune cards that should have made this list, just remember, this list is specifically about cards that are immune to everything, and not immune to mostly everything, like towers. Or, if you have ideas for future videos just like this one, I'd love to hear about them down in the comments.
Very cool video. You know what? Let's immediately go to the other one. Let's immediately go to the other one. This video just came out, what, a few days ago, and this is the reason why I wanted to watch it. So I wanted to go back to the other ones, so now we can go to this one. Okay, so we have more tower monsters. Let's watch.
There's varying levels of protection monsters can have. Can't be targeted by card effects, can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, etc, etc. And in this video, we'll be going over the best monsters to have the ultimate level of protection.
Wait, you don't see, because Tower Turbo is boring and it doesn't have the waifu appeal of Lunalight. You are into something there,
Being unaffected by other card effects. And to start off with the classic, at number 10, we have Apocalyphort Towers.
Wait, this didn't exist 6 years ago?
This card is a 3000 attack level 10 earth machine that requires 3 Klee tributes to be normal summoned or set, and it has the following effect. If normal summoned or set, it's unaffected by spell and traps and activated effects from any monsters whose original level / rank is lower than this card's current level.
Okay.
All special summon monsters lose 500 attack and defense, and once per turn, you can make your opponent send 1 monster from their hand or their side of the field to the graveyard. We start out with a classic one, and the reason why we still call unaffected monsters towers to this very day. The Kleeforts were a very simple iteration of the pendulum mechanic, and they were also the first competitive pendulum deck. It consists of pendulum monsters with either 1 or 9 for scales, and levels going from 5 and above. The deck was very powerful due to its high consistency with Summoner's Art and Sacrifice, together with the ability to play both Vanity's Emptiness and Skill Drain with almost no drawback. Combining this Stun Shell with a 3000 attack unaffected Beatstick in Apocalyphort Towers made for a very oppressive deck at the time. It might...
I don't know, I don't like this. But it's fun playing to leave a big monster in the field. Yeah, but I kinda enjoy playing the game, right? And having interactions with the opponent. That's usually what I like, you know, that's why I play the game. It had some meta play in Duel Links between the 7 years in Minecraft. Yeah. Oh look, the deck that made me quit. That's wow. Wow. Oh my god, okay.
Not sound scary today, but back in the Pendulum era, decks didn't have that many options to deal with it. For generic extra deck options, you had Star Eater for Synchros and Diamond Crab King for XCs. It's worth mentioning that Diamond Crab King was not available in Europe due to being a promotional card tied to the manga that wasn't officially distributed there at the time, thus making the card illegal for a good part of the player base at the time. This all made Towers Turbo into one of the most oppressive decks at the time, focused entirely on just bringing out this one monster to the field and hoping it would carry the distance, which it often did. As a result, Apocalyphort Towers even got put on the forbidden list for a couple of years, and its best enabler, Apocalyphort Scout, was also limited at the same time. Still,
Wow.
Towers is a card that got worse as the years went on, with more and more ways to just beat over it being released with time. In the end, to nail the coffin shut on this deck, Link monsters were released. Links are not level or rank monsters, so now even a measly Nightmare Cerberus can do the job. Overnight, Towers went from an oppressive boss monster that once required hits on the ban list just to curb its power, to a disproportionate, hard to bring out beatstick that could get outed by any 2 monsters in the field most of the time.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's too to Links.
And at number 9, we have Yugioh Final Sigma.
What?
This
Final
card is level
Sigma?
12 Cyberse with 3000 attack and the following effects. It is unaffected by card effects except Mathmech cards while it's in the extra monster zone. And if it battles a monster while it's there, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. Lastly, if this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you add 1 Mathmech card from your deck to your hand.
Why does no one play this? It's called Final Sigma. Yeah, exactly, Pablo, exactly. It's called Final Sigma. People should play this just because of the name. It's so funny.
While Mathmech is now more known today as part of a bigger Cyberse deck, On release, the deck was meant to be an OTK strategy with Final Sigma as the main finisher. Going first, you could just make it in the EMZ and hope the towers rides you out to victory.
This is a deck Bastion Misawa would have played. Totally, I can totally see that. You should play number 69. I have number 69 deck. Oh boy.
But you'd probably be better served in trying to end on the other threat in the archetype, Mathmech Superfactorial, making a 3 material Prime Mathmech Laplacian with a Mathmech diameter.
Is that a thing, chat? Should we just make a deck that has like all like meme names like Final Sigma and number 69? What else can we add to that? Wait, can we add like some brain rot? I guess we can add also the number 67, whatever it is. I don't know if there are more cards with they just have brain rot names. Like obviously they were Lil D, yeah, Lil D, yeah. We should also add Lil D, yeah. Some cards like that. Actually, let's cook that later. Let's cook that. I like the idea of it. Level 67 is banned? Wait, really? Oh my god. Well, we have to do level 69, I guess. No other choice.
Which essentially gives you a Trishula with an Omni Negate stapled on top.
Number 15 plus Angry Barrier. I love that. 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 It is half a turn Mystic Mind. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I can see why.
Going second was where this card truly shined as an OTK machine. By combining its double battle damage effect with Mathmech Nabla granting an additional attack and Mathmech Multiplication doubling its attack, Final Sigma could end duels with ease.
That sounds cool, actually.
Mathmech Circular, the deck was really nothing to write home about. While you'd see Sigma occasionally in Virtual World and Centurion as part of a surprise level 12 option, you don't really see it in Mathmech anymore. Final Sigma's problems mostly came down to the era it was released in.
Really?
Towers are generally much worse in the Link era, and that's not solely due to the abundance of kaijus we have around. Most decks have multiple ways to beat over it if you let them spin their wheels enough. Boros.
Wait, there is a level 69 retrain? With more and new support? That's crazy. The number 15 is Gimmick Puppet. What? Giant Grinder? Giant Grinder? Okay, that sounds even more Mimi. Yeah. Level 67 was abused by K9. Wait! Was it the what's it called? Paradise Smasher? Is that the one? Was Paradise Smasher? Is Paradise Smasher? That's the name, right? It was something like that. It was Paradise something. Oh, well, okay, we're never gonna see that again then. Yeah, that's forever gone. It even had a funny name. It even had a funny name. Well, whatever. Let's keep watching. I think we really like went into a tangent there.
Sword Dragon was a card that saw play pretty much everywhere back then, for example. Still, the last nail in the coffin for this card and its playability was definitely the release of Axe as Code Talker.
Oh.
Because now, not only do most decks have a ridiculous easy way to get over it, even its own deck has no use for it, as it's much easier to make a double attacking Axis code than a double attacking Sigma in the deck.
I guess.
In the period when Mathmech was the most viable deck, when we had triple circular, the Synchro saw basically no play whatsoever with it. As Cyber's decks later received even stronger boss monsters in Neo Tempest Terahertz, Sigma lost even more of its purpose. Though it was still a great card once, it's certainly fallen off a lot now, even if it's still better than the OG Towers at the very least. And at number 8, we have Fiendsmith Rextremende.
I think this is the one Fiendsmith card that is not played at all, right? I think I've never seen this because the other Fiendsmith fusions are way better, I think.
This is a level 9 light Fiend fusion with 3000 attack and 3600 defense that is of course unaffected by card effects except Fiendsmith cards while equipped with a Fiendsmith equip spell. On Fusion Summon, you can discard one card to send a light Fiend from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard.
I agree with that. I think this is the coolest looking Fiendsmith card. I think it looks really cool. But sadly, it's not that good. It's played by the new meta took over. Like, it was played, maybe. I don't know.
Lastly, if this card is sent to the grave, you can target one other Fiendsmith card in your graveyard or banishment and add it to your hand. Rextremende was a late addition to the Fiendsmith engine, coming out as the last wave of support for
Oh.
the deck. For its materials, it can be summoned with one Fiendsmith fusion monster and one fusion or link, something extremely easy to do for an archetype with fusions and link 2 monsters, which can fusion summon using materials from the graveyard. The summoning effect when going first can be used to send Lacrima or Fiendsmith in Paradise to set up interruptions on the next turn, and even if removed, it still gives the deck more recursion by recycling cards. This is a great card that is occasionally ran in Fiendsmith decks,
Occasionally.
though its usefulness as a tower is diminished, of course, since it has to be equipped to be unaffected. With so many ways to get rid of back row generically, this can feel pretty rough at times. Also, God forbid you're in a Fiendsmith mirror where any removal effect can get rid of it.
Oh.
In the end, the biggest problem with the Rextremende is that everything it does is done better by other Fiendsmith cards.
It's not that the card is bad. It's just like Fiendsmith has way better cards, right? Oh,
So
no.
it tends to be ran more because it's a material letting you recycle the whole engine at once than anything else. Having a towers is nice, but using your Fiendsmith cards to end on a DDD High King Wave Caesar or a Fiendsmith Desiree as interrupts will often have you better served when it comes to actually winning the duel. Still, it's often ran in decks that really rely on Fiendsmith, like Live Twin and Magical Musketeers, and uniquely enables the bridge between Fiendsmith and White Forest through Alistair, so it certainly deserves a spot on this list. And at number 7, we have Psychic.
Wait, what did you say?
And uniquely enables the bridge between Fiendsmith and White Forest through Alistair. So
You said Alistair? Hello, Damien. Thank you so much for the sub. Thank you. Yeah, a stellar? Well, I don't know.
it certainly deserves a spot on this list. And at number 7, we have Psychic and Punisher.
Oh, I hate this. I hate this card so much. Hello, Sans. Welcome. Dude, this Alastor. I hate this card. It's so annoying, dude. I hate it.
This is a level 11 Psychic Synchro with generic materials and a base 3500 attack to start out. It is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects if all your life points are less than or equal to your opponent's. Once per turn, you can pay 1000 life points to target one monster you control, and one card your opponent controls, and banish both. Lastly, at the start of your battle phase, you can make this card permanently gain attack equal to the difference between your life points and your opponent's.
The real punk boss monster. No, this card gains so much attack, dude. It's it's too much. Hey, they Zoro, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. This card does, like, it's unaffected, but it also gets so much attack. So, like, how do you out this? You have to play with the life points. I have to do math. I don't know. I don't know.
PEP, as it's called for short, has seen play in multiple different decks throughout the years. Dedicated psychic strategies or decks like Punk, the card is very effective at closing out games. When you add up all the life points that your psychic effects pay, the battle phase effect can easily pump its attack to a one-hit kill levels. Still, since it's generic, it can be ran pretty much anywhere. As long as your deck has tuners and pays life somehow, it can be worth a slot. Even tier limits would sometimes run it due to Destrue the Lost Dragon's Vision, letting you cut your life points in half and give you a tuner easily. With the release of Feudralis Harmonia, a level 7 tuner hand trap that can special summon itself among other things, Psychic and Punisher started seeing play in Mitsurugi strategies over in the OCG. Mitsurugi can easily chip away at its own life points thanks to Mitsurugi Prayers and the new End of the World Ruler.
End of the World Ruler? I've never seen this card.
Then, any of your Mitsurugi level 4s plus Harmonia can make a very powerful PEP. With the condition of its protection being having less life points than your opponent, there are a number of ways you can deal with this card. Mentioning kaijus every time is boring, so let's skip those. The first method that comes to mind is simply lowering your life points.
Yeah, exactly.
If your deck doesn't have an easy way to do this, you can just use the battle phase to attack into your opponent's boost.
It's called PEP. I didn't realize. This thing is called PEP. Ah, hello Jolteon, welcome. So if Dinomorphia have tuners, this would be perfect. You can play tuners in Dinomorphia, I don't know.
Psychic and Punisher, and make it vulnerable to card effects again once your life points go down. Still, you gotta be careful as Pep's attack boost is permanent
and happens every single battle phase.
Exactly.
So it can very quickly get so out of hand you can't crash into it without dying straight up. With the combination of generic requirements, an easy condition to become unaffected, a removal effect, a strong OTK potential, don't be shocked if you find yourself staring down this card in the near future. And at number 6, we have the dragon that devours the dogma.
What the hell is this? What? Fallen of Albas? I never seen this. What?
This card is a level 8 Dark Beast fusion with the classic 3000 attack, 2500 defense stat line. It requires Fallen of Albaz, any one light or dark monster, and any one effect monster.
Wait, this is also new? Oh, okay.
While Ecclesia monsters on the field or in either graveyard, this card gains 500 attack and is unaffected by other cards' effects. On special summon, it can shuffle up to 2 cards from any graveyard and/or banishment into the deck. Lastly, during the end phase, if this card is in the grave because it was sent there this turn, you can add 1 Dogmatica or Tri-Brigade card from your deck to your hand. As is the case with most Albaz fusion monsters, the utility of this card is multi-layered. It is, of course, extremely useful to be able to make it with Fallen of Albaz super polymerization-like effects, letting you sweep away basically an entire board at once. Since we have the new Fallen of the White Dragon now, who easily makes Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon, who can special summon Fallen as a quick effect from your deck, it's suddenly extremely easy to be able to do this during the opponent's turn as an interruption too. And with how common both effect monsters and dark or light monsters are, Dogma is the one fusion with the most potential for breaking a board with Fallen of Albaz.
I can already see this like in a lot of decks. Yeah, in a lot of decks that have no business running this.
Its on-summon effect can occasionally work as disruption versus specific cards or to deny follow-up to the opponent. And to top it off, as well with all good branded fusion monsters, its graveyard effect can be used to add the Fallen and the Virtuous to your hand, which can be fired off instantly for either a pop or a reborn as needed. Still, when it comes to this card, being unaffected by everything is probably its least useful attribute, funnily enough. While it will often be so due to Fallen of the White Dragon tutoring incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous from your deck, removing a light monster in the graveyard can be done extremely easily through various different means. But this card currently sees success in dedicated branded, as well as any decks that run branded engines like Dracotel, as well as any decks that want to run the Fallen of the Virtuous like Radiant Typhoon, making it into probably the most commonly seen card on this whole list, at least for now. And
that these cards are also gonna be in Sky Strikers. Can't wait. Except they are not unaffected by everything. Well, you put it in quotation marks because you know Kaijus don't affect. Yeah, that's not an effect, it's a summoning condition.
at number 5, we have Raid Raptor Rising Rebellion Falcon.
Yeah, that's yours, Pablo. That's your card.
This card is a rank 13 Xyz with 4000 attack that takes 5 level 13 Wing Beast monsters as its materials. It's unaffected by other cards' effects, and on summon, lets you destroy as many cards your opponent controls as possible. And then, if it has 3 or more Raid Raptor Xyz with different names under it, you can also burn your opponent for the amount of attack that the destroyed monsters had. Finally,
why would you run Albas in Sky Striker? I don't know, I've seen deck lists with it. I don't know. I haven't tested it myself, because obviously it's not in Masterduel and I don't have I don't have the means to go to locals or whatever. But I've seen deck lists with it.
Finally, it also lets you, once per turn, detach 3 materials from itself to target a Raid Raptor in your graveyard, and then gain its effects until the end phase. First of all, let's address the elephant in the room. Monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Can only go up to level 12 naturally. So, to summon Rebellion Falcon, you need to go through one of the many Raid Raptor rank up spells. Conveniently, this card got released together with a rank up that can easily bring it out in Rise Rank Up Magic Raid Raptor's Force, which can target 2 or more Raid Raptor Xyz monsters you control and or in your graveyard, and special summon 1 Raid Raptor Xyz from your extra deck with a rank equal to their combined ranks, and then attach the targets to the new Xyz.
Excuse me? Doesn't this card make like super easy to summon this?
Another option is just cheating it out through the graveyard effect of Raid Raptor Arsenal Falco.
Yeah.
This card can be considered an upgrade to Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon in almost any situation. It can board wipe like him while burning for more burn damage with the right setup, and the effect of copying other effects from your Raid Raptors in the grave can make it attack directly with a Raid Raptor Blaze Falcon, or search a card by copying Raid Raptor Bravestrix. As with all other cards on this list, Rebellion Falcon can be dealt with by the usual means. But due to the meta it was in when the deck was relevant after its new wave of support, it also had to deal with destructive Daruma Karma Cannon as
Oh
a
no,
possible
what a
weapon.
nightmare.
When activated, this trap flips as many monsters in the field face down as possible, and afterwards, if any player controls face-up monsters, they must send them to the graveyard. Although this is an effect to deal with link monsters, it has the side effect of dealing with any towers in the game as well, since the second part of the effect does not affect the monster, but the player.
Give me a second. There's a dog barking outside. Why do I have to live like this? Alright.
They have to send their own unaffected cards to the grave due to game rules. Still, fortunately, this could be somewhat played around, as uniquely this Towers was almost always brought out during the opponent's turn due to the rank up spells. And at number 4, we have the Arrival Cybers Addict Nister. This is a
This is the final boss of Brains, right? If I remember correctly.
6 Dark Cybers monster of the Addict Nister archetype, and has the condition where you can only control one copy of it. The original attack of this card becomes 1,000 times the number of materials used for its link summon. It is unaffected by other cards' effects, and on your turn, once per turn, you can target one other monster on the field, destroy it, and then special summon an Addict Nister token to a zone this card points to. This card is the boss monster of the Addict Nister archetype, and by virtue of Cyber's type cards all playing well with each other, it was also a boss monster for the Cyber strategies for some time. While the Link 6 requirement seems like a steep investment for a boss monster with no quick effect, the deck had access to Dark Templar or Addict Nister, a Link 3 monster that can summon as many level 4 or lower Addict Nister monsters from your grave as possible to zones that this card points to.
Am I crazy or this doesn't sound that good?
But their effects are negated, giving you all the materials you need for Arrival. The thing with Cyber's decks is that the more archetypes you can fit, the scarier your end board becomes.
I guess it's easier to
While pure
summon.
versions of Addict Nister would have a 1-card Arrival with 4,000 to 5,000 attack plus hand traps, and the archetype negate for face-up cards on the field in Danmari Addict Nister as part of the end board, mixing in Math Mech into the equation can have the same Arrival backed up by Super Factorial into Laplacian and more extension thanks to Math Mech Circular. The downside of Arrival is the same as other cards on this list. The decks that can use it have better options for similar costs in the Cyber's pool.
See, that's what I'm saying. There is better cards than this. That's why this thing is never summoned, because it's not that good. In Cybers, like, you can summon this easily, I guess. But you can also easily summon better things. I don't know. Ever take one that is a full power? I've never seen this card being played. So no, I don't think so. We saw a clip in this before, remember? Together with Tierra? I don't remember, I'm so sorry.
Instead of a big invulnerable beat stick, you could instead make the Link 5 Fireball Dragon Dark Fluid.
See? It's just a big defenseless idiot. I only face it when playing rogue decks.
An equally accessible boss monster that can be powered by the Addict Nister, XCs, and Synchros to grow as big as 13,000 attack, while negating multiple monster effects and even attacking multiple times under the right conditions. For even less investment, you can also get into the Link 5 Fire Dragon Dark Fluid Neo Tempest Terahertz, whose effect gives you both a spell/trap card negate and a way to negate any of your opponent's face-up cards. Overall, the Arrival is good, but the Cyber's pool is too bloated for even a generic Towers to even be worth making again. And at number 3, we have X Purely Noir.
Wait, hold on. Defenseless? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what anyone would consider defenseless. It's unaffected and it has a ton of attack, so I don't know what to tell you. Like, Liger Dancer has 3.8k, but Raigeki effect is the part that makes it better than Arrival. Yeah, of course, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, I wouldn't call it defenseless at all. But it doesn't do anything, it's just there.
Towers to even be worth making again. And at number 3, we have X Purely Noir. This card is a rank 7 Xyz monster that can be summoned with 2 level 7 monsters as materials, or by using a rank 2 monster you control with 5 or more materials. It's unaffected by your opponent's activated effects while it has 5 or more materials. And you can detach 2 materials from this card to target one card your opponent controls or their graveyard and place it on the bottom of their deck. And this is a quick effect if it has a level 1 purely monster as a material. Noir is the final and strongest form of the Xyz monsters in the purely deck. The
I hate this card.
power of this comes in the form of its many quick play spells. All of them act as starters and can also be attached to the Xyz monsters to give them effects. With 4 different quick plays that can act as starters and summon purely or purely, the 2 starters for the deck, this strategy had absurd amounts of consistency, plus a boss monster with a myriad of effects. To put it into perspective, the effects that the quick play spells give are soft once per turn, meaning you can stack them. So any purely Xyz with multiple quick plays can draw you multiple cards, get a big and fluffy stat line with delicious memory, and in the battle phase attack multiple times with a happy memory.
Dude, I hate these cards. They're so annoying and they have so... I look at them and I'm like, happy memory, delicious memory, sleepy memory, and then these cards are the most toxic pieces of shit ever, dude. I hate them.
At the height of its power, a purely combo could draw you up to 6 cards on the opponent's turn by passing on a purely noir with a purely sleepy memory set. Wait to trigger the draws, then ranking it up to X purely noir on the standby phase with pure leap to do it all over again. With that all being said, Noir isn't necessarily harder to deal with than your average towers. The
Really?
investment into quick plays meant that the board was often a singular, huge Noir, which was very vulnerable to cards like Herald of the Abyss. Additionally, since Noir was often made through the archetypal trap, it could be interrupted by the opponent interacting with you during the standby phase, by using something like Forbidden Lance on you purely,
Yeah, no,
or
obviously, I ran
using
that.
Crossout Designator on the trap, both of which were common ways to deal with Noir. The condition of only being affected by activated effects also made it vulnerable to cards like Mirror Jade the Ice Blade Dragon. When playing purely versus branded, you were incentivized to put Noir in defense mode to avoid the risk of your opponent making Mirror Jade, crashing into your Noir, and then due to Mirror Jade's delayed resolving of its effect, it doesn't technically count as an activated effect, and thus bypasses Noir's protection entirely. Purely is still a deck with tons of potential, though it sees very little play nowadays outside of being an option for Yummy. The deck could come back to the meta with a single wave of legacy support easily. And at number 2,
I don't want to see it ever again. Oh, this is number 2?
we have Lunalight Liger Dancer. This is a level 12 Dark Fusion that needs Lunalight Leo Dancer plus 3 Lunalight monsters as its materials. It can only be fusion summoned with the materials named on this card. It's unaffected by card effects except Lunalight cards, and can attack twice during the battle phase. Lastly, you can, as a quick effect, send 1 Lunalight monster from your X deck to the graveyard to destroy all of your opponent's special summoned monsters.
This, to me, that's the issue. What do you mean? Once per turn as a quick effect, right? You can send 1 Lunalight monster from your extra deck to the graveyard to destroy all your opponent's special summon monsters? Excuse me? I hate that. I hate this. I hate this.
Liger Dancer
It's my fault for never being prepared for this, I guess. It is my fault. You're gonna say, oh, you can out it with so many cards. So many like boss monsters. I'm not gonna get to that point if it can destroy my board before I can get that one monster. If I'm playing against a competent Lunalight player, I'm not gonna be able to do that.
can be considered a new vanguard of tower monsters. With how much the game has evolved over the years, sitting on a big, resilient monster is no longer enough. That towers also need to disrupt the opponent in some way by itself while being part of a larger setup. Liger clearly fits this criteria by being first, a direct upgrade to Lunalight Leo Dancer.
Wait, what do you mean just bait it? What do you mean just bait it? If I'm playing like a deck with infinite options, yeah, I guess it's possible. But like, not every deck can do that. Not every deck can just bait it. I'm talking about a competent Lunalight player that is not gonna use it as soon as they see like a line there. I don't know what to tell you. Lunalight from Arc 5 from Serena, one of the Bracelets girls. Yes. For special summon monsters, do I look like I need to special summon? Yeah, that's my fault. I should be playing. What is it called? The Something that is normal summon. Okay.
with stronger protection, and the effect of blowing up the field being upgraded from at the end of the damage step to a quick effect. And second, because of the on-summon effect,
Monarch.
the deck will almost all of the time have a Lunalight Silver Hound in the grave for an extra negate as insurance.
Fluander thank you. That's what I was thinking of. The Fluander Ace. Yeah, someone already mentioned Monarch. No, I'm not playing Monarch, I'm not playing Fluander Ace. I am playing a regular modern deck that just special summons everything. Okay, sometimes without even a normal summon.
If you consider ideal conditions, the deck also has easy access to rank 4 plays. Most notably number 41 Baguska the Terribly Tired to Peer. In ideal conditions, the board would be composed of Baguska plus 2 Liger Dancers. This is a pretty ridiculous board, one of which even Lava Golem fails to break fully. It's either Sphere mode or bust. Still, these are both cards that haven't really seen that much play as of late, even with Lunalight running around. While blowout options do exist, in recent years the best answers to it, in most decks, is simply not letting the opponent reach them through the use of hand traps.
Yeah.
Lunalight in particular can be very vulnerable to Droll and Lockbird. The quality of cards being printed increasing also means that some decks can play through the interruptions and clear the board. The most infamous example being a single Ice Ryzeal normal summon being able to play through and OTK against double Liger Dancer, even
Excuse
with
me? How? Huh?
the Lunalight player using both perfectly. If anything, due to heavy polymerization being a card that essentially gives you Liger for free at the cost of some life points while going second, the deck can be much scarier if it loses the role. That said, Liger certainly is the best Towers monsters at the moment, and its existence constantly makes duelists dedicate slots somewhere in their deck to address it somehow. No matter
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how EXT, like, don't know EXT Ice helps her. I don't know.
how rogue Lunalight might be at the moment. It'd certainly have been number 1 if we didn't have an even
combo.
more broken monster to talk about next. And to close it off at number 1, we have number 86, Heroic Champion Rongo Miniad.
I forgot about this card.
This card is a rank 4 Xyz that can be summoned with 2 or more level 4 warrior monsters, and gains effects based on the number of monsters it has as materials. With 1, it cannot be destroyed by battle. With 2, it gains 1500 attack and defense. With 3, it's unaffected by other cards' effects.
Okay. Where it cannot be destroyed by battle and it's unaffected by cards. Just with 3, we are talking about just 3.
4, your opponent cannot normal or special summon monsters. And finally 5, once per turn, it lets you destroy all cards your opponent controls.
What do you think, Chad? Do you think this is a fair card? It has kaiju protections? Yeah, because your opponent cannot normal or special summon? Is that what you mean? That's the kaiju protection? The champion of towers, I need this. Yeah, Pablo, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead and do that. This new card is hero. Hello, hello. Heroic. Different, right? That's a problem there. Can't super poly it either. Fourth effect stop kaijus. Yeah, exactly. After 4, you might as well say you win. Yeah, exactly. Like once per turn, you can destroy all monsters your opponent controls. What? Excuse me. Excuse me. His materials are unaffected. Oh yeah, it loses to what is it called? Biker Goblin? Goblin Biker? I don't know. Big Gabonga. It loses to Big Gabonga. Sorry, my bad. How are you gonna summon that? How are you gonna... Oh, Exis Encore. Okay, my bad. Sorry. I should be running that.
But during your opponent's end phase, you have to detach 1 material from this card. This card is a bit of an anomaly on this list. While most of the towers have effects to complement their protection, Rongo's 4+ material effect completely overshadows everything else the card does, making this card on turn 1 essentially forcing your opponent to pass with only set monsters and cards. Its Floodgate effect also makes it invulnerable to all kaijus and kaiju-like monsters. On top of that, the combination of unaffected plus cannot be destroyed by battle makes Rongo effectively impossible to remove, as you couldn't even put a monster out to match it in the first place. Being a rank 4 Xyz means it was very easy to put on the field. Over the years, decks like Tellar Knights could make Rongo if monsters were left unchecked, or by surprise thanks to Soul Charge. Still, having a deck pour out all of its resources to make a Rongo in a grind game was somewhat okay to have around back then, but the real issue began when we got good enough cards to make Rongo Turbo a viable strategy. You might think that requiring 4 level 4 monsters for the full effect can be a tad restrictive, but as is the case with almost all good Yu-Gi-Oh cards, decks could cheat this out easily. In the case of Phantom Knights, you can make Rongo with any 2 level 3 Phantom Knights by overlaying them for the Phantom Knights a Break Sword, destroying it with its own effect, or the Phantom Knights a Rusty Bardiche, and using the Grave effect to bring back 2 monsters with levels increased to 4 and make Rongo.
What? Only type warrior and dragon, right? Not type. It's only warriors. It's level 4 warriors, right? But you can cheat it with the stupid bullshit.
Finish this and get the full effect, next the deck would make number 75 Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, and then use its effect to transfer itself plus all of its materials to this card, netting you a 5 material Rongo for more or less the price of 2 XCs. And dealing with this card is a tad more limited compared to the previous entries, but it was still vulnerable to Herald of the Abyss, though not as effective if the opponent ended the turn with other warriors on the field. Or you could use a solution not mentioned before in this list, but one that proved to be an excellent answer in scenarios where
I can't wait.
Towers XCs were dominant, that being XYZ Encore.
Oh, right, of course.
This card can target one face of XC's monster your opponent controls that has material, detach all materials from it, and if you do, return it to the extra deck. Then if there's
it returns it to the extra deck? Wait, what?
monster cards in the graveyards amongst those detached materials, special summon as many of those monsters as possible from the grave to your opponent's field in face-up defense position. Their levels are reduced by 1 on the field. Also, neither player can activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation.
Isn't it unaffected? Well, I guess if it had only 4 materials, then it becomes affected by this, because you can still target it. Yeah, you can target it with this. And then if you took like the 2 materials, then yes? Is that how it works? Am I misunderstanding? Yeah, because it detaches the material first, right?
Now, you might be thinking, if this card is unaffected by card effects, how can the card effect work on it? Well, viewer, this is another case of rule nitpicking. Encore is an effect on the materials of the XCs, not the monster they are attached to. So, an unaffected XCs can have the materials detached. Decks that face Rongo would use Encore as their silver bullet to shut it down and try to play normally from there. However, having your only out be an unsearchable card still made games versus the card very frustrating. This is one of the biggest design mistakes we ever had at Yu-Gi-Oh! Combining an unaffected monster with a complete summoning floodgate is obviously something that never should have been done. This is definitely a one-of-a-kind card in Yu-Gi-Oh! And hopefully we never see anything like it ever again.
That's banned, right? Or is it not banned anymore? Because I remember hearing that they banned this card that gave it materials, right? They banned this card because you can put materials to this, but then they unbanned this and banned this. Wrong with Giga banned? Okay, cool. Cool, awesome. I hope it stays that way. I hope it stays like that. I mean, there is a reason why. So to all the people that think that this is like, I just need to be prepared for cards like this. This is fine, Konami, after creating this card. Yeah, they totally thought this was fine. Probably never coming unbanned. I mean, it will probably become unbanned if the power creep, power creep, and this card is like, oh yeah, that's not that good anymore. Because right now, there are cards that bypass unaffected most. I don't know, dude. I don't know. People make fun of me when I think like, oh yeah, at some point there is gonna be like one archetype that does this bullshit, and there's gonna be like a set of cards that out stuff like that. I don't know. You will see. You will see, chat. You will see. Or to activate the effect, it ignores the effect of the opponent's monsters, even if they say that they are unaffected or stuff like that. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Would you react to Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge? Yes. Nothing has to carry its legacy. Ophion. The OCG philosophy is there is an out, it is if there is an out, it is not OP or it is not too OP. You didn't draw the out, you didn't have the heart of the cards. Okay, I see where they are coming from, but that's not how it works in real life, sadly. If the power creeps get that bad, I finally quit Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, if you see the game right now, you like, I don't know, 6 years ago, you will be like, what? What do you mean turn 0? What do you mean I can play the game before even my turn? What do you mean I can make an unbreakable board during my opponent's turn before even my opponent has a chance to play? How does that work? Doesn't that sound OP to you? But what do I know? What do I know? We tend to react to reach too. Oh yeah. Share the Pain is another out searchable by TTT. Yes. Sure, why not? The stream is kind of struggling right now, so yeah. Let me know, chat, which are your favorite towers. Or no. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments why I'm wrong and how I can out all of this easily. Yeah, let me know, chat. Let me know which is your favorite and how they are not that OP. All right. See you next time.